It's your boy Cino here. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Klay Thompson. He will not be a Golden State Warrior next year. Let me fill you guys in on what's been happening behind the scenes. Absolutely behind the scenes. Oh yes, it's been a lot. This was happening since last year. They were negotiating what they were going to do with Klay Thompson last year. Bob Myers knew that this problem was going to come. Bob was on his way out, and they were talking about keeping Klay and doing a 3-year deal with Klay. But the Golden State Warriors wanted to wait. They wanted to close Draymond's contract first. After they did this, Bob Myers was not going to stay for the money that Bob wanted. So Bob Myers was leaving. They couldn't do anything with the renegotiation of the contract with Bob Myers. So they thanked Bob for his service, and then they moved on to a cheaper solution, which was Mike Dunleavy Jr. Him and Chris Mullin, basically Mullin is a consultant in the situation, and Mike Dunleavy Jr. is, leading the way all the way through. So Mike Dunleavy Jr. decides in his wisdom to handle these negotiations. Now, he's a little different than Bob Myers. Besides being a straight man, this situation has gotten way more complicated than what people could understand. Klay and Mike Dunleavy Jr., do they have a good relationship? Not really. Not like Bob. Mike's been there, but Klay kind of has a certain air about himself that annoys Mike Dunleavy Jr. And it's not like he's sitting down with Klay Thompson doing the negotiations. It's just certain things that Klay says that, that puts him in a mood where Mike is an all business guy. He's a former player. He's the guy that brought in, Kyle Culver over to the Cleveland Cavaliers because his back was hurt. He played with LeBron. But, his father's a famous coach. But it's like this. His abilities to be a general manager, well, that's something that could be questioned. Well, I know this situation a lot, and I won't reveal that source, but let's just say I know somebody very close to Klay Thompson. So that's how I know this situation. Him and Mike Dunleavy Jr., they're not really cozy like him and Bob Myers was. And this has become a situation where Mike doesn't see the value in Klay unless Klay sees the value in himself. Klay believes, I'm going to be back to an all-star again. That's Klay's mentality. I'm going to be back to an all-star. They writing me off. They don't know. I'm finna bounce back next year, and I'm going to be an all-star. That's what he's saying. He's going to be an all-star, starting or on the bench, but he's going to be an all-star next year. He's blaming the start. He's blaming everything, basically, on changes in the offense. They changed the offense around for Wiggins, and they changed the offense around when Kuminga comes in the game. So it's different. And when Klay gets to his spots, he's not getting the ball. So it's throwing off his shot rhythm. So he was trying to adjust playing with the other guys. So people wasn't noticing all the stuff he was doing on defense when he was out there guarding these guys, but guys are blowing their assignments where he was played with what he liked to call much smarter guys, basketball IQ. He's looking bad because he's covering for other people. So he's the one left holding the bag. So it looks like Klay isn't playing defense. Klay has lost a step when really he's doing his assignment. He's communicating. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. But some of the guys on the team aren't smart enough to realize what's happening. And they're blowing their assignments. And guys are shooting the gaps and everything, and they're not, getting on the guy's hips. They're not picking up the switches. So a lot of mental mistakes was made last year because it's a lot of guys who are young getting into the lineup, and they're basically teaching them on the floor what to do. So he's like, they're basically coaching and playing. So this is a problem. So it's not about Klay the injuries. And this is why Klay hates ESPN and all this, because these sports people don't know the game. And they're sitting there just talking about the game. They don't really know what takes place and transpire. But somebody like Mike Dunleavy Jr., who played this game before, should know better than to let this try to influence his decision. Now, Mike Dunleavy Jr. is looking at it like, well, that sounds good in theory, but this is where we evaluate you and we think you're at. Like, your best years are behind you. We feel that. But we want to give you basically grace and glory, and we want to give you a $40-some-odd million deal for 2 years. We want to give you a 2-year contract, and you have a player option for the second year. And he just thought that was bull it. Klay did. And he's like, you think I've fallen off that much to be a 2-year player getting 20-something million a year? When you got guys who coming in the league, like 3-year guys are getting 20-some-odd million dollar deals. For 4 years, they earning 30. I can't get a third year. If he was to accept that deal, he would need a third year. He said, I should have 2 years guaranteed and a third year. And they say, well, you have a player's option. That would be great. Your 2 years are guaranteed. We don't want to be beholden to you for a third year. And he's like, wow, 4 championships, and I'm reduced to a guy who can't get a third year on his contract. Now, a lot of you might think, that's right, Don, it definitely is. Now, a lot of people think that, he's going to go and play with Sacramento. And the fact that the team wanted Klay to come off the bench because they thought that would be best to have him come off of the bench than to continue down the road he's been on. So, Yeah, so it's always been like that. No, they wanted Klay. They wanted Klay to be one of the guys. But Klay doesn't want to be one of the guys. What Klay wants to do is go ahead and play the role. He doesn't really like coming off the bench. He wants an opportunity to start and be a starter in the game. So he had to be okay with coming off the bench, which alleviated a lot of stress off him. So, well, when you look at real life situations, that's what it details. Klay was doing something that was pretty unique. He was a guy that was catch and shoot, knockdown shooter, and he still showed some flashes in the game this season. Now, everybody's like, you're only as good as your last game. You're only as good as your last shot. Well, his last shot didn't look too well. No, they went ahead and made some crazy decisions. They decided that Klay Thompson should go ahead and be inserted into a plan where he'll come back for 2 years, because Steph wanted him back. Steph was like, I want at least 3 more years or 2 more years with Klay. He already gave his stamp of approval that he wants Klay back. He's already told management, like, I want Klay back. Try to get Klay back. Dunleavy's saying 2 years, $40 some odd million. Klay thinks that's an insult, and they haven't budged. And they told him basically, hey, if you think we're trying to short you or not treat you the way you're supposed to be treated, go test the market. That's what you do. Go test the market. So he shoots out and he goes and tests the market. So that's what he's finding out now, that everywhere he goes, no one's giving him 3 years. Everybody, Orlando was going to pay him $80-something million. I'm like, if they were going to do that, he'll be in Orlando in a heartbeat. He doesn't want $80 million. Well, I mean, he wants it, but they're not going to pay him that. Everybody's offering him about the same thing the Warriors did. 2 years, no 3rd year. So that's where he's at right now. 2-year deals. Well, it's not petty. His father, Michael Thompson, still works for the Los Angeles Lakers. So it was fitting that he finishes his career where his father started and played the majority of his career. Now, here's the thing that interfered with that. The Lakers can't afford to put $40 million into Klay Thompson's lap for 2 years. Because one, he's not going to take that deal. He wants 3 years. Plus, he's not Clutch Sports. Klay Thompson is not signed with Clutch. So LeBron is doing this to bring over a Clutch Sports buddy so he could double dip. And then he's like, oh, this player's going to help us out. So he's double dipping. Now, You got two things going on, both are wrong. So when you're stuck in situations that don't make sense, you're going to be putting yourself at a disadvantage when you go back out there. Yeah, the negotiations are crazy. All the other people are not interested, they're all disinterested. So, yeah, a lot of people are disinterested in these basic conundrum situations. Think about it. If you had somebody who just didn't get it, right? They just didn't quite understand the selection process. Oh yeah, marriage therapy. All of this stuff is like bizarre and nuts. Klay has been a bachelor for the majority of his playing career because he sacrificed a lot of his life to basketball. Oh yeah, hit the like button, good people. I know y'all got here and just start hearing me talk. Hit the like button, please. This guy was thirsty to get somebody, and he finally got somebody. Good Lord. There's another cop. Jesus Christ. Is it the 4th of July weekend? Jeez, they're just popping people off left and right. Now, absolutely, Klay Thompson wasn't getting the 2-year deal. They're shopping the market. The Orlando Magic is going out here, and they talking about Orlando wants this, and this could happen there. The team that has the money to make him happy is Dallas. The Dallas Mavericks have it, but do Klay Thompson want to play in Dallas? That's the big question. For everything that's on the table, that is the big $1 million question. Do Klay Thompson want to play in Dallas? I can't see him going for Dallas or playing for Dallas, but I mean, it would help. He's a catch and shoot guy. He plays good defense with PJ. He can help, but who's he gonna replace? Tim Hardaway Jr.? Is he gonna be okay coming off the bench in Dallas? It's a slower tempo pace offense, so it would alleviate some of the pressure off Luka. Well, no, there's another option. And that option is the Clippers. The Los Angeles Clippers and the Sacramento Kings, to me, are the teams that are close, that he would fit in well with. But Harrison Barnes in that deal, we'll see what happens there. But the Sacramento Kings could pick him up, or the Clippers. They have the finances to make this happen. especially when you find out what happens with Paul George. So it's going to be a lot of guys moving around. If Klay's willing to go to Miami, I just don't think he fits well in that system with Pat Riley in Miami. I don't think Klay fits well in that system. It's a lot of movement. It's aggressive defense. A lot of man on ball, handoff passes. That don't really fit Klay Thompson's style. I don't really see them playing that kind of basketball. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be different variations to a certain aspect of things. So what you want to do is always make sure you're assertive and saying, hey, I'm assertively doing this because this is what I want to do right now. But Klay's finding out, his ego is bruised. Imagine you being the top guy in basketball or on top of the pedestal for all these years, and just 2 years ago, you were on top of the world. You just got back to the championship. Y'all won your 4th title. 2 years later, everybody's calling you a bum, and you ain't worth a 3-year contract. You're only worth 2 years in your contract. So you would think genuinely the team would make a sacrifice and say, hey, I don't care if Klay isn't worth the money. We're going to give him a 3-year deal. But Dunleavy's being real tight on this. And the owners is like, hey, it's Dunleavy's decision. And that hurts Klay to his heart. That hurt him. Because in his heart, he wants to be a Warrior and finish his career out in Golden State. He just felt like they didn't try to make a effort for the 3-year deal. And they didn't say they wouldn't re-sign him. They didn't say they didn't want him. They want him. They just want him for the price that they want to pay, which he thinks is extremely disrespectful. The price they got set up for him, yeah, and they say, oh man, he scored 0 points. He was like 0 for 10 or 2 for 19, and Klay's up here fighting with people on Twitter, actual fans. So I think he's gone basically because his pride is hurt. He had to swallow his pride to come off the bench. And in his career, he slowed. He still feels he could start and have a chance to be a starter, an all-star. And It's hard. Aging veterans are the hardest thing to deal with in this game because they still see themselves as when they were at their peak. They still feel that they're there no matter what. Oh, I've already passed MJ crib. I've already passed MJ house. They turn the magnet balls off. Yeah, it's sad, but you know, we've seen it happen. You know how they say it gets old at some point. Like, oh man, you know these things get old. Well, I don't know. It's the same old to me. Now, you think a team wouldn't offer Klay Thompson a 3-year contract? The Chicago Bulls would in a heartbeat. No team in the NBA will offer Klay 3 years. Why do you think that is? Because they talk. These teams, these owners, these general managers, they all meet up and they collude with each other to help each other out. Say, hey man, he's trying to stretch us for 3 years. He's trying to go around and shop for 3. I told him this 2-year deal is the best he's gonna get. Now, if y'all want to offer him a better 2-year deal, great, but don't give him 3. All right, no problem. And you see 2-year deals everywhere. But Klay is tight. I gotta tell you, I know somebody that knows Klay Thompson. Period. Know him. And he's not happy. He's really ego hurt more than anything. That he had to go to free agency. And it's like they didn't want him, in other words. He felt disrespected. And he feels this, you know, the general manager, who just don't understand him because he really wasn't there when things is going down. Yeah, well, sunglasses at night, baby. When you're cool, the sun never stops shining on you. Plot twist, he goes to the Celtics. For what? A beer? Screw it. Klay Thompson is very efficient and very dedicated, professional. You're not going to have a guy that's going to embarrass you. And it didn't start like that early in his career. Klay was the pothead, party guy. And he was just an excellent shooter of the basketball. Still can go out there and shoot the basketball. He can't even believe how he's missing shots once it comes game time. Now, the thing is that do you feel Klay Thompson deserves a 3-year contract? Yes or no? Should Klay Thompson get a 3-year contract instead of the 2-year contract he's offered? Do you think the Golden State Warriors should pay him a 3-year contract? You're the general manager now. Would you pay Klay Thompson a 3-year contract or keep the 2-year, $40-some-odd million deal that you offered? It's about 50-50. Well, Adrian was going to say yes. Now, that's interesting. 2 years, and then the team has the option on the 3rd year. That sounds fair, but I don't think Klay wants that. He don't want the team to have an option. Right, so for a guy that you're not going to start, he's not going to be in your starting lineup, you're going to be paying him 3-year deal, 20-odd plus odd million, whatever, a year, plus a 3rd year. I know. Tell people about it. What is Steph? Steph wants him there. Steph Curry literally wants him there. That's not a joke. If there was a decision to be made, he wants him there. No, he already spoke to the organization and told him that him and Draymond, they both, all the teammates want him back. They was like, we want Klay back. The start of the season was rough, but it became easier once he started coming off the bench. You know, he started to relax more and there was less stress on the team. But like I told you, I know somebody that knows Steph. No Klay. Klay was like, they blaming him for a lot of stuff that wasn't his fault. They changed some things in the system, added new wrinkles, didn't get a ball to him and properly, didn't run a lot of plays where Klay would get the ball. Klay had to create a lot of his own shots. And he's not making any excuses, but some of the guys' basketball IQ that they have on the team just isn't sharp. And they're trying to catch these guys up to speed on the floor. And he finds himself coaching on the floor. Him, Draymond, Steph, they're coaching guys, you know, on what to do and where they should be on the court. And defensively, it looks like Klay just lost a step and he ends up holding the bag. So I understand what he feels, you know, and that aspect of it, I understand how Klay Thompson feels and where he's coming from, because I understand the game. So I understand how a veteran player would be teaching younger players or players that hadn't been there before while they're on the floor. You know, that's the natural spot of it. And if somebody else blow a play and you're trying to cover for them and you getting scored on, it makes you look bad to the world. Like, man, Klay just can't play D no more. He can't switch. He's forgetting spots. It's not Klay. He's trying to cover up the space because Golden State lost a lot of games off of mental mistakes, things that they don't do. But that's because they have people in the lineup that don't quite understand what it is. They come from losing teams where this is just a norm to turn the ball over and do all this stupid stuff, and they mental fatigue. And the Golden State Warriors are a mentally sharp team. They don't crack. So everybody try to keep their poise. Even if it's a pressure type situation. What do I see for the future of the team? Well, I just see it pretty clearly for me that there's no real, like, whoop-de-whoop going on here. We know what this is already. It's just that, are we going to accept it or are we going to move forward with it? That's the thing we need to find out. If we're going to accept this is something we can live with, we can move forward with. If not, people need to know right now. Is Golden State ready to be without Klay Thompson? They're ready to move on with what they have? I think Kuminga's definitely been a big help. Wiggins is kind of like an off and on guy, and you know, now he gets it, now he don't type of player. Oh yeah, some Warriors fans was upset that they paid Draymond. I'm like, are you crazy? Draymond is getting another $100 million deal. Why they keep paying this Draymond guy? He only scores 3-4 points because Draymond is the runner of the offense. He's the point guard. He's the distributor. Right, he's the guy you would call the master cylinder. Wiggins for Randall, oh, he's the last thing you need in your system. You're going from one mentally brain dead person to another mentally dead brain person. Somebody said, we don't want Randall. He was not made to be a superstar. Like, he wasn't made to be the first option. Everything else is, up to par and everything, but he wasn't made to be the first option. So many times people are gonna have to make decisions in life. That's just the name of the game. Guys are gonna have to make the hard choices. They gotta make the hard decisions. What is it that they want to do in their life? Are you gonna be someone that toe the line, or are you gonna be someone that pushes the envelope, who know how to take it to the next level? Klay Thompson has always been one of those guys. So if you need a clutch shot, Klay is not going to shy away from the big shot, the clutch shot. Sure, he's not what he was before he tore his ACL, but he's still Klay Thompson. You can still hit some open shots. I would give him 2 years and a team option on the 3rd year. And if he didn't like that, then that's the best we could do. The Warriors look a lot different without Draymond. Well, the truth of the matter is simple. Oh, shit. I hate that. So, I'm going to get up out of here, y'all. Shouts out to Welcome to HDII TV. Shouts out to Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez. Don't forget to go to my Patreon, which is Carcino for Life. No, it dips down and my front of my rim started getting scratched. So I got to go. But, yeah. Kwame Brown Bus Life. Thanks everybody who hit the like button. I appreciate you. You liked the video. It feels good not talking about Drake. Jesus Christ. Thanks for everybody who hit up my Cash App, which is Carcino. Klay Thompson is great, amazing player. Got a lot of historical records. I think he still owns the most 3-pointers in a game, or I think he has that record still. I know he has the most 3-pointer from anybody who ever shot a jump shot. But don't forget to go on my Patreon tonight, Carcino for Life. We got something special coming on. But I'm finna have a couple beers first.